There's another question that the people are asking that during the Mar-a-Lago summit, it looks like two big issues were not mentioned very much, also after the meeting. Especially the United States didn't mention it at all, it looks like. One is the Taiwan issue, one is the South China Sea issue. Why was that?
The Taiwan issue is of core interest, or core of the core interest of China. Mm-hmm. There are some hiccups before President Trump assumed office. Sure. His phone calls, he took phone calls from Taiwan, etc. But later on, of course, he including his key officials, reaffirmed very quickly, reaffirmed the one China policy in his telephone conversation to President Xi. I think that issue is a non-issue. It's a non-issue because that is the very political basis for any relationship, political relationship in China and the United States. It's the foundation. You cannot take foundation away. Sure. I believe Donald Trump understands that.
Knows that, yes.
Knows that. So whether it is repeated, not repeated, it's not an issue, or should not be an issue. Okay. And South China Sea is made maybe more difficult. And what China has been doing is building some structures on our own soil. Our own islands, reefs. It's certainly within China's sovereignty to do so. And the U.S. as a outside power is using what U.S. Navy has been doing for centuries, freedom of navigation. We have no objection to freedom of navigation. I mean, definitely not. We need freedom of navigation in South China Sea because more than 80% of China's foreign trade passing through South China Sea. But navigation, freedom of navigation should not be in conflict with sovereignty. If this island is China's, this island is United States, you can not overfly that. You cannot use your warships, sail into territorial waters. I mean, Chinese Navy cannot sail without permission, sail into Hawaii, for instance, sail into Guam. We cannot do that, right? Our aircraft carrier, our airplane, fighter plane cannot overfly Guam, right? We'll be shocked. I mean, China is pretty polite. We're saying, no, now you're entering our sovereign space, sovereign waters. Please go. Yes. Right.
The pilot's conversation was friendly.
It's not warlike, but just imagine if our planes are flying over or closing to Guam, probably you'll be shot.
This summit in Mar-a-Lago was held as a milestone for China-U.S. relations in the new era. Most people feel quite optimistic about it, especially the personal relations between Xi Jinping and Trump seem to be very good. Trump, after the 2 days ago, he again talked with, I remember talking with Fox News Business, Fox Business, that his relations with Xi was great, and they had what he called good chemistry between them. So this is very important. I mean, the heads of state, they know each other and they understand each other. This is very important. But the problem is, can we say we are more optimistic about U.S.-China relations than before, when we consider Trump's campaign rhetoric on China, also when we consider the growing frictions between China and U.S. on a number of issues in recent years? Some scholars are warning that we shouldn't be blind optimistic on the bilateral relations in the future. What's your take?
Several points. I think this Mar-a-Lago summit is of historical significance. It's a milestone in China-U.S. relationship because they have set the tone for the future of China-U.S. relationship. This is one. Some people call it meeting of the century, quote unquote, meeting of the century. Secondly, chemistry is important. You know, we have a tradition of our bilateral relationship has been driven by summits, by high-level meetings, by face-to-face talks. We have a tradition of that.
Yes.
You know, after some time, you need. It's very important because they are the decision makers.
Yes.
You know, they are decision makers.
Final decision makers.
They are the final decision makers. If they can reach a strategic understanding, if they have good chemistry, a good personal relationship or working relationship, we will not say personal relationship, working relationship, it will be much better for the overall management of this important relationship. Thirdly, whether we should be optimistic, pessimistic, my take would be long-term speaking, we need to be, or we should be optimistic. Because this is the only option. Again, the only option. We cannot afford to be pessimistic about the relationship, long-term relationship of China-United States.
That's why she said 1,000 reasons.
1,000 reasons. Short-term, you may have lots of friction, sometimes even confrontation.
It's inevitable.
Inevitable. I think we are wise enough. Pacific is wide enough. China, United States are wise enough to address, to manage any differences. So long-term, optimistic. Short-term, whatever you say.